Mr. Bernstein, the floor is yours.
Hey, everybody. It is somehow already February 15th. This is Tinderbox Meetup with Michael Becker. I'm Mark Bernstein, the designer of Tinderbox. And here's Michael Becker.
Hey, everybody. So welcome to the February 15th Tinderbox Meetup. Hope you had a nice Valentine's Day yesterday. Typically, our format is we go around the room and we have new people introduce themselves or people that have not been here for a while, kind of update us on what they're up to. We will then talk about any projects that our people are working on and then jump into any themes. We don't currently have a theme this week. We're thinking about having a theme next week on self-sovereign identity and artificial intelligence and how our personal knowledge management efforts will inform one's personal AI. And then Chuck Wade in the next week or two wants to talk about his view of doing diagrams in Tinderbox. And then later, once he's done that, we'll juxtapose that with the methodology that I've developed for doing that. And we'll kind of compare and contrast the two, which I think will be really interesting. But having said all that, we don't have a theme today. So let's go around the room and see what people are working on. Who's got a project? Who's working on something interesting?
Oh, Michael, you're always working on something interesting. What are you doing that's new?
I have been perfecting a new template I'm going to start offering in my school. And it's basically finalizing what we did with starting with last week on how to do automatic attribute creation and note creation. And I'll happily demonstrate that if you guys would like to see that. I also figured out recursive programming. So I got about 300 lines of code down to 100 or so. So that was kind of nice. And repeated that. So we can definitely do that. Richard, you've been working on some interesting stuff too, and you just finished the second cohort of the school. So maybe you
Which
can
was great. Is that what I say now, Michael? It was great, everybody.
if that's true.
That is true. Yeah.
Maybe you can kind of talk about too, like going from how long you've been using Tinderbox to what you didn't know about it and what you learned over the last 6 weeks, and maybe you can share some of that with our audience. And
Okay. I'm happy to do that.
Maybe you can pull up a Tinderbox file and point out like these are some of the cool things I figured out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me see. How long have I been using Tinderbox? I reviewed Tinderbox for Mac user when it was version 6.
Okay. So
and it's been sat on my drive, sadly. But yeah, so I finally got into it thanks to Michael. I've been wanting to get into it, like, hello, my name's Richard, I'm a data addict kind of thing. So, I've been wanting to get into it for a while, and I was Userland Frontier for bits of stuff and FileMaker for bits of stuff and, Hookmark and all these kind of things. But it's like, let's just try and get my head around this. And actually the six hour and a half that I've had with Michael have really helped. And I've got to the point now where I'm coming up with really stupid questions. Like, I can show you. Would you like me to show you something?
Yes, that's what we're here.
Let me see if I can show you something. Can you see me? Have you gone?
No, we can see it.
Okay. I'm just wondering why that has disappeared. Hang on a sec. My screen has just gone black. Bear with me a second. Why has that happened? I might have to come back to you.
Hey, partner's here. I gotta make sure the door is closed.
Yeah, no worries.
By the way, there's something that I'm going to drop it in the chat. Richard, as part of the class, it's not. What's the name of that? Data? No, I'm mind blanking out. That app that you shared with me.
Oh, that.
I got it. What is it? What is it? Where is it? Okay. Oh, he froze on us. Okay. I'm going to share an app. I got to find it that Richard gave with me. All right. So while we're waiting for Richard to come back, and because I don't want to jump into my stuff because it's going to take a while to kind of go through it. Does anybody? And Mary Beth's popping in. That's great. Let me find the app. Where is it? Oh, DeskPad. Okay, here. So this app called DeskPad, let me drop it in the chat, is really cool. So basically what it does is it creates a virtual external monitor. And it's a free app you can download from GitHub. And when you launch it, it launches like an external monitor, so that you can drag, say, a Tinderbox application onto that monitor. And when you're demonstrating an application through Zoom, you get all the menus and everything as if you were showing a full screen monitor, but you're able to then isolate your monitor from like your desktop or whatever you're showing with anybody else. So anybody that's kind of in the field of presenting their screens, I highly, highly recommend using DeskPad. It's really wickedly cool. And then the other app on that one is one called Keycaster, which helps with showing. It's an open source. You get that one up. It's an open source
Michael,
showing your keys. Yeah.
Michael, I think I read about DeskPad. Isn't there a particular installation process for it?
No, it's really easy.
You don't have to use Homebrew or something like that?
Well, you can if you want, but he's actually has a Mac OS installer that you can download.
Okay. Oh,
that.
nice. That's different from the article I read.
Yeah, maybe in the old time that was the case, but not anymore. All right, so while we're waiting for David to come back, I can just use my own dog food and pull up DeskPad and show you all. So I'll just kind of demonstrate this real quick. Sorry if you're hearing my gardener go by. So I'll do this in kind of two ways. So one, if I share a portion of my screen, all right, this is what the DeskPad external monitor looks like. Can you all see that?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Yeah. So you see that. Yeah. And so what all you need to do is if you want to drag a file onto it, you drag a file on it just like an external monitor. Whoops. Yeah. And so then that way you get access to all the menus and you can interact with other apps. And then if you launch an app like Keycaster, and I'll bring that onto the screen now. And so that way, when you're doing hotkeys, people can see them. So that's kind of a really fun little thing to do. And so then if I stop sharing screen and I just share the DeskPad as if it was a screen, you're not seeing the rest of the screen. You're seeing a complete experience. So that's pretty neat. All right. Have we gotten Richard back yet? Okay, no Richard yet. All right, so let me show you what I've been working on. So I've got, I did an inventory of like the core templates I use for both thinking with Tinderbox, visualizing the new the skills and capabilities within that I use, in the different libraries that I use within Tinderbox and the different functions and such. And I've identified about 30 or so different templates, libraries, methods, functions, applications that I use within Tinderbox. And so what I'm trying to do and what we kind of kicked off with prior to last week's session with Mark was how do we how can we make it possible to actually automate the installation of different libraries or templates when you're working with people, and how do you educate people on how different Tinderbox stuff works. So I'll demonstrate what the library that I've done, and then I'll kind of give a high level overview of the way I pulled it together. So if I open up a new Tinderbox file, and watch this, where's the new file here? Sorry. I don't think, are you seeing Tinderbox on my screen? Let's see what you guys are seeing. Yeah, all right, hang on. Go here, file new. Why is it where is the new file opening up? The new file is opening up on some other screen, which I can't seem to see. Okay, so if I open up a new Tinderbox file, and what I can do now is I copy this library over to any brand new Tinderbox file, and all I need to do now is uncheck the box, and Tinderbox will then go off into the background and do its thing. And what it's doing is, in order for this library to work, it's installed 18 user-generated attributes. It's telling me which attributes it's installed and what there's doing. Kind of one request, Mark, by the way, is I would love it if I could get this show bar to be able to stay up longer. If possible, maybe have a time field, or if you mouse over it, which could possibly be harder, it pauses until you mouse away. So that way you have a chance to read all of the text. And, that's, maybe there's I don't know how you do it, but that would be kind of the desire, is because this is pretty fast and you've got text there, people can't read it. So essentially what this has done, and then the other kind of request, Mark, with action code, it would be great for this kind of demonstration or example, is if I could have action code that would tell Tinderbox to like switch to outline view versus map view, because in that way we could be immediately into the view we want. And then the other request I have in the backstage is I'd love to have action code that would automatically turn on the show pane preview, because that just makes demonstrating this kind of easier. So what this did is we went from having a blank Tinderbox file with nothing into it to now let me pull over the inspector. Come on, where's my mouse? A blank Tinderbox file that had nothing into it to now a Tinderbox file that has the 18 user-generated attributes in it. Their types are all properly set, as well as descriptions have been set. So effectively what the objective of this overall program or strategy is if you have notes and you want to be able to turn a hierarchy of notes. And so what we're used to, and I'll just show you from this example, what we're used to when we're looking at notes is seeing a hierarchy view. So that's kind of what we're so what we're used to when we're seeing notes is seeing like a hierarchy view of our notes. So the template will cascade our notes and see the hierarchy view. Now, what I've been wanting to do, and what I do a lot when I'm writing my reports, especially when I'm trying to summarize my reports, is I want to turn the hierarchy into a bulleted list. And so what this template allows me to do is do that. So the library goes through and automatically interrogates all of the notes and turns those notes into a bulleted list. And then depending on the attribute values that happen to be in a particular note, for example, what's the category? In this case, it's the 5C School of Knowledge Management. So it's school. What's the what's the list flag? Like this one's on fire versus this one's a bullseye versus this one is where's one that's pinned? Like this one is like a pin, and then some might have nothing. The other idea is what's the relative cost. Now, what the library I created does is it also automatically populates suggestions. So you could identify like what's the cost of an item. And then does it have any citation keys? And so by doing that, you create your bulleted list. What this also allows you to do, and if you've got sublists like this, it creates your sublist too. What this allows you to do then as well is you can control from the top root level that says like, look, I don't want to show, the cover is the control of of all of the notes being used by the function, and I don't want to display the text. So if I do that, all of the text goes away. And if I maintain that the cover is still in control, I can reduce the other flags, remove the other flags. And so therefore, oops, did that one break? I'm still working out. And now I've removed all of the text. So now with this, I can grab this list if I wanted to and go paste it into a PowerPoint, paste it into an Excel file, Word, or some other document. So if I'm like working on a presentation, this is a great way to kind of quickly get to developing that bulleted list for your presentations. So that's That's kind of the module and methodology I pulled together. Now, the other fun thing about this, and let's add the text back in, is again, if you can use this library and install it into any existing Tinderbox file, and it's going to work, and dutifully act appropriately. The other fun thing that I figured out this morning when I was working on this is when I was doing my README to review how this file works. What I wanted to do is say, when writing that, when writer presenting this file, there's a whole bunch of reasons why you might want to have lists. This file has these various features, and then here's some examples. And I built a macro that basically says, see, I don't know how familiar many of you are with macros, but I built a macro in the file that says, go call a macro I'm calling advanced list, pass the note ID of the item of the note that you want to list. So in this case, I'm telling, I want to tell Tinderbox in this kind of overview item, let's call this like an introduction to a report. In this overview item, I want this list of stuff to be presented at this point within the document. But I don't necessarily, in the context of having it be in a summary, I don't necessarily want to have all of the detail of the main list like this. So if I'm in a summary, I don't want all those detail. I just want to say something like, here's the outline that we'll be talking about later in this document, and then you're not going to be presenting all the detail. So with that in mind, the macro that I've developed allows me to pass in the note flag, pass in different attributes that basically tell the macro to turn on and off the Booleans, these Booleans here, as to whether or not I want to be showing or not showing the different flags. So that way, when it runs, in this case, you'll see I'm telling the macro, I want you to have this idea. I want the cover to be the control, and I want all of the Booleans to be turned off. And then I just pass, and just so I can read the macro, I just pass, I include this text here that lets me know what each one of these Booleans means. So like the first Boolean is the cover, the second Boolean is text. As opposed to this list down here, I'm saying I want all of the Booleans to be true. So in this context, then when I preview this note, here's an example of the macro giving me a list that's just the headed items, or here's a list of all of the items. And then if I'm in here and I'm saying, okay, so category is text flag. So if I want the flag to be true, but leaving all the other false, I can, I got to spell true, right? No, that's false. Turn that one to be true. And you'll see I'm getting all the heading items, but only the flags. So this gives you like some really powerful way of granularly controlling your data and those kind of ideas. So before I kind of move on, let me pause. Like thoughts, ideas, reactions for the ability to be able to, it's basically essentially call this we can call this a list view, and you have all these different flags to control your list view. Is one way to interpret what this is. I'll show a little bit of how I did it if you guys are interested, but let me pause there and see what your reaction is to the what first. Thoughts, ideas, reactions? Just bored you all into complacency? Richard, you came off mute. Do you want to comment?
Oh no, well, I was kind of inspired by what you'd done, but I wasn't talking about the list stuff. It was the installer stuff. So I'd kind of gone off on a trip.
Oh, I see. I wasn't looking at the.
No, I missed that because I managed to crash my Mac 3 times in a row, which is I hadn't happened in months.
Yeah. So
I'm doing something right then, yeah.
Yeah. So did I get the right file? Just a minute. Stop. So and just to kind of reiterate, since you kind of missed that, and it happens really quick, so we can just go like this. So the concept is I have a self-contained library Now, where I can do this, hit new. I gotta pull it out. For some reason, when I hit new, Deskpad opens the new Tinderbox opens the new note on another file. So I can open up a new Tinderbox file, or if you have an existing file, hit paste, trigger the installer, and the installer automatically installs everything and lets me now have my my ability to have all of this control of creating a list view of my hierarchical list of notes.
That was the thing I was interested in. That was what I've been, because I found I've got some the brain's trust here. I just need to figure out how to do something.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but I don't want to interrupt you, Michael, because you're in full flow. So, you know.
No, I'm good. So that's basically the what. I essentially, for those that are interested, I've created a, call it, it's similar to like the JS visualizers, but I've done it in with action code, and I've created a list visualizer for your notes, and it has tons of flexibility. Like I chose for my particular context to have in my list visualizer the ability to have a category, a relative price, like this is free, a freemium. This has this template costs some money. This template's free. This course is a little bit more expensive. This is free. The ability to give a flag like this one's on fire, that's a bullseye, and then also to incorporate citation keys. So that's what the template does. So with that in mind, I can go into later too, but I don't want to melt everyone's brain too quick. So why don't you show us what you've been wanting to think about? If you can share your screen and
I can't. I'll share a window if I can.
Yeah.
Because I kind of went. I've been doing this 6 weeks with Michael. It's been really interesting. Really interesting. Share. Requesting what? Yeah, sure. Allow. Share a window. Share a document. Can I do that? Share a screen. A Tinderbox. This one. Okay. So, yeah, this one.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen share. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay. So I kind of took what you'd done, and I kind of my background is heavy coding.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit of a pervert when it comes to, the option to do anything by reflection and get it stuff to build itself. I really love that, and I was inspired by what you've done, Michael. It was really, so I wrote an installer kind of thing, which essentially has this is why having sharing a window is a bit of a problem, I guess. But if I look at the edict, there's a huge. Let me just how do I do this? There's something about making the line bigger. Is it like command one, is it?
No, if you want to make the line like, what do you mean, wider?
Oh, yeah, the wide. It's like you go to properties.
Hit command 1.
Yeah,
If
properties.
it's a lot of text, you could
And we
just
can't-
copy and paste it to the text field, and
No,
then we could all.
You can
Yeah,
do
sure.
that.
That's, yeah, happy to do that. Yeah, okay, cool.
You can do that, but let's also do this. If you hit command 1, oh, that is pretty long.
Yeah, it's
Can
really
I
quite long.
can I give you another example on this though, real quick?
Sure.
Or just make sure your smart quotes and smart links are turned off, so that as you're typing, so add the attribute smart quotes and smart links to the note.
Yeah, I think I might. Yeah, smart quotes. Yeah.
And do you want to turn that off? Because then that way, if you edit any of this code in that text,
Oh yeah, no, I would. I always said I was doing it in Sublime actually because I could yeah. Anyway, so sorry. So what this does is, so this is the thing I couldn't get to work. In that I can cut and paste this into a new file, and your trick of saying rule is disabled, and I got it so that it will build a whole pile of stuff, and it'll do. And I understood now that you have to put your scripts inside the library, so I created a file of script, which is actually just copying the text of this object utility function note into this util. Okay, which works. It works if you close the file and reopen it.
yes.
Okay.
So I know. So here's what's happening with that.
I could do a force update or a force
Yeah. So what's happening with that is in hopefully we can push this update into a public release sooner rather than later, Mark. So in Tinderbox in 10.1.1, so the backstage release of Tinderbox, the new update function allows you to force Tinderbox to initialize any functions that might be in a note,
Okay.
right?
As long
But
as, yeah,
but
sure.
Son's doing that. The way to go about doing that is you just need to edit the text. And
Yeah.
when I
So this
say
was,
edit text, go in and just put a space.
I
That
got
will
a pile of these questions because I went in and I went, oh, if I go in and I go into the note and I edit the code, then the code gets recompiled and then the code runs. Hooray!
right.
So what I was, so I wrote the utility
So
functions.
let's just pause there to be really clear. What that means is when you edit the text, that tells Tinderbox to kind of reevaluate and reinitialize the text.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Doesn't
in
reset. Yeah, yeah.
10.1.1, you can use action code, use the update operator in action code to force that to happen without
Yeah,
having.
that's what I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. And now
it didn't exist till last week.
okay. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So what this does is, so first off, it builds a bunch of templates and this is where I guessed you'd done it in your edict. And the problem with that was I was like, this edict is getting really long.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm building are functions to attach to notes and things with it. So it's like, this is a nightmare. So what I did was pulled out all the functions that I've attached to the elements in this, because what this is a tool for me managing the user stories of different jobs I'm working on. Okay. So if I save it and if I go into here and I go into here and I just do that, I save it. Now, if I go to here and I add a project, alpha, let's call it, and I tab it, it should create all the sub objects. And then if I have a user story and I say, this was kind of fun. So if I say add user is one of my stories. Okay. And let's just come back to that in a second. I'm going to add some roles. I'm going to say user and admin. And then I'm going to tab that. Oh, sorry. User and admin and tab them in. Obviously, I've got an on add set on alpha roles.
No.
Now, if I go to here and I tab it in, I get my user story plus my properties displayed plus, and this is the cool part I figured out, is admin and user are, you can't see it because it's just popping out of focus as it were, but admin and user are the users. And the thing, the cool bit was I thought, well, the problem is that I might have a beta project, right? Which I tab in, and I'm going to have different roles. So like this could be higher performers, right? Performers. And then I want to do juggler, magician, clown. That'll be my role. So yeah, see, juggler, magician. I hit delete instead of tab delete, clown, right? So I do that and I tab it and I go to here and I've got a user story. Oh, sorry, a user story. And of course, what I really wanted to say is clown, jugglers, and magician.
All right, that's easy.
Oh, no, Michael, just 2 seconds. I worked on this all day.
Let's go. Oh, good.
Calm your trousers. Clown, jugglers, magician.
Nice.
Okay. And if I go back to here and I go admin user. Now, the problem is, of course, I had to do that by writing the code. So I'm attaching, so a bunch of build functions for each of those things, which I've attached to on visit, right? Is that the right thing to do? Okay, so it does an on visit and it says when I visit this user, it calls the rebuild of the list, the suggest, against the particular attribute. I had such a hellish time figuring out how you do tree navigation in Tinderbox. Like, I want to get to the uncle. I can get to the grandparent and I can build a path for the grandparent. And then because I want to get the uncle's children who are the list. So if I'm here, right, I want to go up to alpha to the grandfather or grandparent and then down to alpha roles and then get the children of alpha roles as a collection. And then And of course, my problem is I kind of closest to this for me is JavaScript. I don't know if that's the model, but it's kind of, I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm a map reduce kind of a guy, I guess. So I kind of got it, but there's probably an easy way of doing it. But I'm getting there. But it's this bit here. I just wondered, because there was something in the manual about code prototype that I should be using, or I see Mark nodding, and I'm not sure if that's.
Well, the code prototype simply is a note that turns off like the smart quotes.
Oh, okay.
The smart links and it's nothing special in as much as it just turns off the automated formatting stuff, so you don't mess up the code.
Yeah. So it's all. I mean, it's all. Oh, and this was cool. So if you go add check security. So you didn't have an idempotent way of adding. So I had to kind of. So if I change that to a function, and I changed, and this is a functional requirement of add users.
By the way, can I give you a tip?
Yep.
If you select on a note,
Yeah.
like alpha function requirements, go ahead and finish what you're doing. I'll tell you.
Okay, so that's that. If I change the name to hire more jugglers, obviously what I wanted to do is I couldn't get it to do it other than by visiting. So bingo, because obviously the problem you've got is if I rename a file like bingo there, that's not got the thing you were talking about, Michael, in your things, which was prefixes. So I had to write a prefix function, and I'm not sure it's not hairy as much as probably not it's not idiomatic, and I just worry that I haven't got idiomatic. I haven't grokked the idiomatic Tinderbox yet, but it's really cool. It's really cool.
What do you mean by idiomatic? And because I don't know if I understand that term. And then the other thing is there is another way to add the prefix without code. So like we can talk about that.
Yeah, but there's a way of doing that, but it doesn't add the code if you edit the name. Whereas this, if you edit the name, if I go, you're wrong as usual, Richard. It will do the prefix on. I touch it again, it will put the prefix back there for me.
Right.
Which is if I edited the name, adding it there, putting it on that.
Well, if you can have it put on automatically with the on add.
Yeah.
Or you could have a rule or an edict that's running behind the scenes that says.
Oh, on the parent.
Yeah, on the parent or the note itself. If this doesn't have have a prefix, then add it.
Right. Okay.
But the little trip I wanted to tell you: if you click on that note there, Alpha, hit Option Shift Enter, and then that will add a child, so you don't have to do the tabbing.
Oh, I see. But this is the thing. I realized that sometimes if I did the tab, no, that's great. But of course now I have to go blah. Yeah, that should work. And if I go select all bonkers, then that should rename it as bonkers if I click on it. But yeah, okay, cool. Command Option Shift Enter. Okay, cool. What was I trying to ask about? Sorry, there was something I was going to ask about.
The uncle.
Uncle, yes. Someone could tell me how to get to uncle. So I'm crying uncle. How did I cry uncle? I went this thing here. I went fastering. I got a roles list by getting the path to the grandparent and then a slash and the name of the grandparent and roles because here we go. I'm using a rule that's kind of what's the word? It's not actually code, but it's just an assumption that there's a note called beta roles on alpha roles. So it's looking up the tree and and I'm constructing the path I think should exist. And I was like, should I create a property on there and say this is the roles folder and search for the roles folder in the parent? And then I got, you know what? I can't even find the uncle. So I had to use the name of the path. But then I got the attribute. This is the attribute, the name for that particular thing here is like, what's the user role? The user role, it's admin. But what I couldn't understand was, is there a better way? No, so idiomatic, Michael, when I talk about idiomatic code, is like you could write in JavaScript, you could write a loop, but idiomatically it'd be better to use map on an array. So I've got an array and I could take an array and I could go, how many items are in the array? And then I could loop 5 times because there are 5 items in the array, or I could just take the array and go dot map and then put the function in there. And that, so both of those work, but the right way to do it is the idiomatic way to do it is the one that Tinderbox users understand when they see Tinderbox. Because you don't want to write Tinderbox code that like people are going, who's this clown? So that's what I was trying to get at. That's it to me? That's what idiomatic means.
Personally, I still don't kind of understand. So like, so are you using like, you can use the dot each loops? Is that what you're?
Yeah. I could have used dot each, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not at that stage yet.
Oh, got it.
And the dot, and here I don't need to do dot each in this case, as I just want the list of names.
Right.
But my question was idiomatically, it's like, how would a Tinderbox user say, go from this puppy here to ask for this uncle or aunt?
Okay, so on that context, that is my parents' sibling.
Yes.
Right.
But,
so that's how you would write that. And right now we don't have a concept called uncle.
Agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah.
But,
So the way if you're looking at that would be my parent sibling. So you could say sibling parent would that should give you something like, I'd want to pull out a test file to do it, but it was something like sibling parent.
So to be really clear, when you say it's like sibling parent, that will be like $path bracket sibling dot parent bracket, or
it's not dots. Let me you keep talking and let me pull up a demo file and see if I can make it work.
Let Mark talk. I think Mark wants to say something.
Yeah. Mark, let's Mark speak. I'm sorry, I don't want to get in his way. Then Mark, you're on mute.
I am on mute. Now I'm not on mute. Yes. Hooray. You can nest designators in parentheses. So you can, for example, as you have there, $path of grandparent gives you the path to your grandparent, which you can also express as path of parent.
Okay.
So your uncle is path of brother of parent. Path of
sibling.
No, brother.
Oh, brother.
Sorry. I'm
brother
thinking of the wrong. Next sibling.
Next sibling. Okay.
Parent.
Okay.
No, left parent. Open parent.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, and then parent.
Parent.
Like that. Oh, cool. And then that way I wouldn't have to get roles, because roles is the next parent down.
Yeah, that as long as you know that roles is going to be the next sibling,
the next parent down.
You're all set.
Yeah, because this is the thing. I went. Okay, so I know I can get the grandparent, which will tell me the name of the project, and I've just suffixed it with and roles, and I could go, oh, can I do a find? Does that give me a list of paths, and then I got into such a mess. So this is really good. So next sibling of parent. Okay, cool. And then I could do a check to see if it was roles. I just don't like adding strings together. It gets
I mean, there are times when it's a good thing to do, but it's tricky and error prone and less concise.
Yeah, no, I like this. So next sibling, because that's the other thing. The thing that's really interesting coming to this as from a language point of view is using the variables as also functional. That's really lovely. It's like, yeah, $text. That's the variable of the text of the object you're in, but $text bracket. No, you can then give it a signifier or whatever. I can't remember the term you used.
Designated.
A designator, yes, yes, yes. A designator, and it'll then go and find the text for that designator. It's just like it's tremendously powerful, really. You know, and that's the other thing Michael was saying about it's a search. It's a list ordered search from the top of this outline. Yeah, okay, because that I thought that was I was getting hung up if I need. That's why I get these two different names in case I was screwing it up.
So
But
Mark,
yeah.
on this note, let's say let's go here. If you click on add user, and I wanted to
Sure.
get the child, the user of alpha roles, how would I do that? So if I said
So stamp. So if I put a
Parent-
stamp in,
parent-
right, and I go,
parent next sibling. Well, by the way, since you're not sharing your desktop, we can't see your inspector.
no, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm really sorry about that. But I'm going to put it as text into this
Yeah,
tool.
so maybe say like $ text equals
Yeah.
just and say what is it, next sibling parent. How would I get how would I get the note user?
Just make sure I'm getting something in there. Okay, so what I was going to do was look at that code there, pull this one here, go copy, and go this one and see if it gives me the path. Right, it should give me a list of paths. So hang on a sec, go back up to here, and I go like this, and I hit add user, and it gives me a list of paths. Perfection! Oh, genius!
Okay,
That's
now
right. And then I want to say dot children names, names. Sorry, I know you can't see it, but you'll just have to.
so we can say it now.
Okay, dot star. Grumpy. Okay, so if I hit that. Oh no,
No.
hang on.
No.
How do you do that?
I have to do a collect, right?
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
But in fact, you can do the collect implicitly.
Oh.
You want the names?
Yep.
So go erase
So-
the
so
collect. No,
so
just
This is what I have at the moment.
yeah.
No, we
Or-
can see your inspector, so it's good.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, erase back to the collect.
Okay.
Now, before next sibling,
Yeah.
add children and an
Okay.
open paren.
Which does the collect for you because then you're getting a
That's
list of
right.
children. Ah, genius. Hooray! But now I just want the names. So was it common name?
$sign name instead of $ path.
Of course. And that, Michael, is idiomatic. That's what idiomatic means. Not jumping through the hoops to try and match JavaScript and C to what Mark's worked on. Like, so if I hit this, et voila.
That is fantastic.
That's perfect. So I can go to here and I can go to here and I can update my function and that. You see, that's what this is what I want is like, what does idiomatic Tinderbox look like? So I actually need to do this. And I can just take this out for a second. Hang on a sec. I'm just a bit up. Please don't take this. Please don't be offended, but I'm just going to do this instead and go attribute roles suggested equals copy and then blah and then equals la 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 la. And then in theory, what did I do that right? Actually, yeah, attribute. Oh no, I forgot attribute with an A.
So this is exciting. You've been a busy little bee since class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is
I'm
fun.
gonna roll, you know. So that looks. You see that to me, because it should be. Because I look at the power of this thing, and like this should be a one-liner.
Yeah.
You're being a moron, Richard. This should be a one-liner, and it's like, yes, it is a one-liner, provided you understand it.
Mr. Wynn. Wynn's got a question for you.
I actually have a question for Mark that derived from what we just learned out of this, which is Mark, just in the context of how to think about the programming model of action code. Would it help with my mental model to know what your sort of language design inspirations were for for some of the things that work like this. Does that make sense?
Okay. It makes sense for you and me and anyone else who has the reference, but not very quickly. Self, which is really obscure language, which is where
Yeah.
we get the prototypes from. Obviously, a certain amount of small talk.
Yeah. Okay.
The syntax is all C,
Mhm.
and it was meant to be baby C. Designators are just Audi's C++ idiom. Let's do everything in composition.
Mhm.
And the mistake was the very permissive, we will, if you make a mistake, we will do our best to give you a result anyway and not say syntax error, which was wrong, but that's taken from Perl.
Die
But
quiet,
don't do that. That was a blunder.
die quietly.
Seems true of most things that got taken from Perl, in different contexts. Okay.
And again, the reason for the on add, just to talk about that is, or I mean, excuse, using the on visit stamp is when you have tons of rules and edicts running, even on an M4 like machine, if you got thousands of notes, it can start slowing things down. So the on visit's great because it triggers a function or action code or a rule or whatever you want it to trigger only when you visit that note. And so therefore you're not wasting processing power.
But Michael, there's something else here which is really clever, which I've never seen before, which is that we're using the on visit to set an effective context.
Yeah.
So that instead of having management and clowns in the same list, which might be embarrassing, you only get management for the business list and clowns in the performers list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I can't claim that's an act of genius because I stole it. But like it's was it Bob Tomlera says like don't call it that, call it research. So, it was just a case of I need to get this to reset when I go, and it was like, yeah. Because that's the funny thing. You're right, that's kind of like a hard idea. But that wasn't the problem I had. The problem I had was how do I find the uncle?
That's really cool.
So I just want to make sure that it's doing the right things. So this is where Michael showed us all this bits of it. I'm like, I have to do things from first principles because otherwise it doesn't go in. And it's no shame to your teaching ability, Michael. It's just my learning ability. So if I have to do it from first principles, so I've got to the first step where I'm pulling the data in. I'm doing the second step, which is where I'm putting text, and then I want an agent to go and look at the text and put the user story in the right place based on what's in the text. And then the third step, which will be doing this marvelous list stuff that Michael was showing, because I really just was really great, because this is the sort of thing where actually the outputs from this are going to be multiple. I need to have it so I can cut and paste plain text into a Retina system, and I need to be able to put a Word document together from Pandoc through Markdown. So we covered that in the 6 weeks. It was great. It was at high speed, but I need to do it from first principles so I understand it. I'll shut up now. Sorry. So,
but what I like about what you said too is like, I'm going back to the list thing. Is sometimes too you need the ability to have, different contexts. Like for one kind of list, you need a certain amount of information. For another kind of list, you need more information or less. So I think that's really helpful.
So this is the thing where I just had to remember to stick on visit onto the so there's a kind of like a chain, right? So when I build the user story, which is when I'm in user stories and I do a build on add. Okay. So anything's added, I call this build user story function. So the build user story function, what's it doing? It's saying, oh, put a lovely, I love your icons, by the way. Put an icon on there and make sure that I have the attributes. And
No,
then
badges, I agree. If you love a note, put a badge on it. You know, it's just.
and then on visit, I set the on visit so that it's doing an update role list on visit. And that's a separate, this is the function we just worked on. This, thank you for turning 3 lines into 1. There was one other thing though, there was maybe a slight improvement to your code, Michael, in that in the installer edict. Let me just pull this from the actual edict and paste it in here so we can read it. So this was the thing I didn't understand why you weren't doing. So one of the things I tend to think of things like to think about things as modular, right? And so I could see that I would want to have properties that are to do with a prototype. And I want to add those, sorry, attributes, let's call them attributes. I want to add those attributes because I'm putting that prototype in this particular Tinderbox file, right?
Yeah.
So it was like build a dictionary of attributes to add rather than a whole list of attributes, because then I can add them all. So for example, I'm talking about custom attributes, which is this whole list here, right? Which I completely researched from Michael. I mean, you can do your search and replace for research there. But the point is I also have a user story attributes dictionary, which contains user story, which is a string, and user story, user want, which is a string, blah, blah, blah. And then I can then say, oh, create the user story attributes. And then I can say, make the displayed properties just the keys of that dictionary.
Yeah. So
for the user story, I get whatever keys I want to add. And the point is I can say user story, I can say is bonkers Boolean, right? And get an extra one, I get the property defined, and 2, it shows up in the list of things to do when you get to, it's this, I mean, actually, like it was, did this story come from marketing or engineering? Really is what we're really probably, marketing story would actually be better. Maybe I'll do that, marketing story. But you get the idea.
Go ahead.
So that way you can have at the top of the top of the script, because that's the thing about the edict, right? Because it's big, and your edict is it's like, as well as being able to doing the recursive stuff, you actually just to put stuff and define it at the top, and then define it once and reuse it in different ways.
Right.
I have to say, you've really inspired me.
That is inspiring to have inspired somebody. I love it. It's really exciting. Now, just so you know, too, the version that you're going on, that was the installer I did like 3 or 4 weeks ago. The new one I've got, because I just learned recursive coding this week, is like a third of the code that we had in the other one. So it's pretty exciting. And I also, and the other thing I've generated, which you might want to try sometime, is I called it a get attribute inventory. So you basically run a regex against a library, and it will pull out all of the attributes being used in this library, and then go and generate the descriptions and the sets and its types, and then produce that dictionary. So I have a get inventory function.
Okay, because this was the thing I really wanted, and this is the other thing that's on my to-do list, is you spend an awful lot of time writing a prototype, and you can cut and paste it.
Yeah.
But if you could reflect on the prototype and pull the properties, because you have local properties, is that right? There's a local properties thing on a note.
Well, I mean, remember, every note has every attribute, and
but isn't there like a local one, like the values aren't to the default?
There is one you could say which properties of this note have a value.
Right. So what I was trying to do was, honestly, it was over lunch, and I probably got all sorts of crumbs in my keyboard, but it was trying to pull pull the attributes out of a prototype so that I could write the definition of a prototype into a dictionary so that I could generate that prototype on the fly from the installer.
Right.
So in other words, reverse engineer a prototype so that I could go, that's really cool. Let me not have to do that manually or cut and paste it. Let me put it in a script so that it's built cleanly.
Yep.
So if you could do, if that's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm close. I would be close to doing that for prototypes. I now can do it for libraries and I can do it for templates, but I'm not
Cool.
I'm not tried it on a note yet. So I'll try that next. That's good. Peter's had his hand up for a while.
Okay, I've been going even deeper into the rabbit hole of trying to get Tinderbox to manage every configuration file I have on my Mac and all of the libraries installed with all of the sub-installers. And I was wondering, is it possible to programmatically create a new watch folder from the Finder? Because I'm able to get a listing of all of the invisible folders under my home directory. That's really quite trivial, and that's just, let me drop the command into the chat, setting the text to run command of listing all the invisible folders. So that gives me a note with each line being the location of a different invisible folder in my home directory. Now, what I'd like to do would be to programmatically create a watched folder from Finder for each one of those lines. Is that doable currently?
I don't know, which means no one knows. But I can find out.
Also, I've been thinking about the issue of finding obscure paths that are added by other applications, and I could come up with a list of folders that are on my path for my particular use case, but that doesn't help everyone generically. So I was wondering, do you think it might be possible for us to get a new system attribute called run command path, where we could stuff whatever the appropriate folders are for Tinderbox to look for binaries? Failing that, maybe in the application support folder for Tinderbox, we could have a bin folder that we could stick scripts in with shims to find other things that are at odd locations so that we can more directly invoke them. Otherwise, I guess I could use a regular user attribute for the path that I have my obscure things on, and then manually use an agent or something to construct a modified run command to properly prefix the bin commands that aren't on the path that
It's 1
Tinderbox is
o'clock.
normally looking at with the location that they're actually at. So I'm not sure which one of those solutions is the way to go.
Wow. I'm pretty sure that this is possible. It feels a little bit, to be candid, like astronautics. But I think it can be done. Remember that you can auto fetch a URL, which could be a file URL. So you can always like store your shim file at a known location and just have Tinderbox auto fetch it and parse it out. And that's probably the straightforward approach to getting that sort of semi-automatic import. MetaWatch folders.
Hey, Peter, do you have a follow-up question to that? If not, Richard, if you share your screen again, I want to show you something.
Ein Wunsch ist mir Befehl, as they say in Germany. Your wish is my command. Let me just find it.
I didn't know this until a couple minutes ago.
Okay, show me your screen. Window, Finder application. This one. Here you go. Share.
Okay, so go pick an attribute or a prototype,
Prototype. Sure. Okay.
right? And then open up your inspector.
Yep.
And go to stamp.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's see the stamps. Yeah.
and hit new one so you don't.
Yep.
Like, all right, and then go ahead and type text equals, and check this out. $ local attributes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. That's what I was trying to look at. And I was like,
And look, so that gives you a list of the attributes of this note that have their own unique value.
yeah,
And then what you can do is run the attributes command against that list to get all of their defaults and their values and such.
okay. So when you say the attributes command, that's
So why don't we try this? Let's create a variable called var list equals that. And call that like the some whatever it is.
bingo. Yeah, okay.
And then you would say like
Bingo.each. Oh,
bingo.each. Oh no, create another variable called string real quick.
sure.
You'll need to place it. So
Ah,
variable string VSTR.
string. VSTR. Okay.
Okay. And then you should use a semicolon there, yep. And then say, bingo.each x.
Each X.
Okay, curly bracket.
So I have to do, yeah, curly brackets. That.
Oh, you
Sorry.
gotta close out the parenthesis.
Yeah. Oh, I have to do that, do I? Sorry.
No comma. No, it's x parenthesis. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Then put a semicolon there at the end.
Okay.
All right, and then put a line break just in there to make it easier to read. Okay, now in there say what is it? It's attribute. It's VSTR plus
Plus
equals.
equals. Yeah, okay. VSTR plus equals attribute and then X.
And then it's the name X and then the square bracket. And let's just grab one value default maybe, or no, do type just so we can get something. And I think it needs to be in quotes.
Oh, okay.
And then wait.
Oh.
And then you need to say semicolon at the end.
Mhm.
And then you need at the bottom underneath the curly bracket put text equals v strings.
Text equals V string here. Okay.
And then after type, after the bracket of type, do plus semicolon something.
Plus N thing, right?
That plus n thing to get a line break.
And add the R to V string below bingo.
V string below bingo. V stir. Yeah, because that would help.
And put a semicolon after v string too, just to be clean.
So actually what I want to do is this. I want to do X.
Yeah, or you could do it as another line.
Yeah.
Just to keep it, yeah, but you like the compactness of it, so that's good.
I like to, yeah. Cool. And then you do something like, I don't know. Can you do?
I would do another one. Then I would
Default?
say I would do v string plus equals and then do default. Yeah.
I could spell it'd be great, wouldn't it? Default 0. Yeah, okay. I need to do a space in there, but I get the idea. Okay, cool. So that's how I would build a dictionary. Then ripple through that.
And then Mark, how would we grab its value? Like, how would we, in this context, how would we get the value of badge? I get. Oh, I know what you do is you would just
Doing a val?
you do the name of the note. You do $, badge, the name of the note, $ badge parentheses, but you don't know the name of the. Okay, you need another variable. I got it. Oh, this is good. So create another variable called name, like v name. Equals equals $x, $name x.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you would say badge v name. And that should get you its local value.
Yeah, I just need to put a plus in here. But the problem there is, this is what I was wondering, is because actually you want to get the attribute.
No, but you want the name of the prototype to get the value of badge.
But-
You need to get the value of badge.
No, what I meant was, if you're doing a reflection, you would, in another language, you would want to be getting the property called X, and in another language you might do it val on a string that was X $X bracket.
Oh yeah, okay. You could move that V string, since we're only working on one note where it says V string name, you could move that outside of the loop. So now you're getting the name of the note. And you get rid of the X. You don't need the X in that context. So you're getting the name of the note, and now you're going to feed to badge the name of the note to get the badge value. There you go.
Yeah, but
Now here's the thing. Now what you want to do is after the at the end of the loop, so after the semicolon in that loop,
yeah,
no, above the curly bracket.
yeah.
Right. Clear out the variable. V name equals nothing, because each loop you want to be clearing out the variable.
But you never set the variable again.
Yeah, but you do. You need to clear it out. You do, because the next time it runs,
No.
that way your badge is only for that first one.
Which is the wrong one.
No,
Well, I
we
want
aren't
to-
using
what-
VName at all anymore.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't want to do that. What I thought you were getting at was to say, instead of having badge, you actually want X somehow. You want to get the X of,
Oh yeah, Mark's got it. He just put it in the chat. Eval X.
yeah.
You're right.
That's what I was thinking, eval, right? Eval of X. Right?
Lowercase e.
Lowercase.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I was aiming for. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Because then you've got, I mean, I haven't put, I mean, I'm dreadful. I do apologize. I haven't got a space in there, but you know what I meant. But that would, then I could build the, yeah.
And to your point, now you've perfected this really great prototype. Now you can create an installer to be able to easily install it in all future nodes.
That's right. And you'd go to the prototype, pull it, save it, and you know, you have to dictionaryze that kind of, but cool. Okay.
Can you drop that in the
Yeah.
chat?
Sure. Happy to.
We don't-
There was one thing I wanted to ask Mark, if that's possible. It's about closure. It's a bit technical. It's like if I'm in, when I have so if I'm in the each, let me just drop this in the chat. How do I do chat from here? Do I do chat here? Yeah. Okay. Chat. Okay. There you go, dear gentlemen. Gentlefolk. I think there might be some ladies here as well. I'm not sure. I can't see. If I'm in each and I'm eaching over a collection of whatever it is, and I have an external, if I've defined an external variable and I add to that within the each and I come out, I still have all the things I've accreted, right? Yeah, okay. I just wasn't sure, because it's like, you know, scoping is horrible in other languages you're not used to. It's like,
Scoping is always horrible. But by and large, so certainly when you reach out and you change a attribute of a note, that's like a global. And
Yeah, 'cause
that's
it's
what you
global to the
normally
note.
want to do, because you've got all these different notes. So we have this funny implicit note scoping. And that's actually a fairly effective way to organize what could be rather large distributed programs. In general, if you set a local inside a loop, the assignment leaks outside of the scope after the loop. There are some cases where it doesn't.
Okay.
Where that caused confusion. But by and large, that's been handled on an ad hoc, case by case, what seems to be right basis. It's a hand-built parser that was never meant to be this large.
Uh-oh. I bet that's fun. Well,
So,
I have
Richard,
to say, I'm genuinely impressed. I really, and I feel guilty. I've the immense amount of guilt, but it's been sitting in my drive. I mean, I've been renewing, I've been paying my money, so you've been benefiting from that, but it's like I haven't been benefiting from it, and I'm feeling really, it's shameful. There
so
was
Richard, can you do me a favor? Go back to that on visit methodology you were doing.
sure.
So you were populating the note with like user super user, right?
So I yeah. So you did what was it you did? Come on, that
Option shift enter.
option shift
You-
option. Sorry,
You
I'm on
don't need
here.
the option. Shift enter is enough.
Oh,
Shift
shift.
enter. Okay, bingo. So I'm doing bingo. And the on add, so right now the list is wrong, right? But when I go to here, that's the visit, and that visit is triggering the update to bingo.
Now do me a favor though, if you had another project.
Yes, it works.
No, but are you going to get more use? Is it
So if I do alpha, right?
right now? Is it only going to be the project
Alpha,
going
yeah.
up?
But that's what I wanted. I mean, like you
No,
could.
but how do you do that? So that's my question, because I thought prototypes were universally pulling the values from everywhere, and that's the piece.
I'm not using the prototype. I'm setting the suggest directly every time you hit visit.
For that individual note, or for that?
No,
that?
for
No,
that
for the whole document.
Yeah, the whole document. But you can only be in one place at once.
Okay, that's the piece I missed. That's really, really smart.
You can only be clicking on one thing at once because that's
Yeah, I get it.
requested.
I get it. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. I love it. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me revisit that. I missed that one little piece.
No. Yeah, it's the sort of thing you do in JavaScript all the time because it sucks. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Got it. Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. Okay. I'm gonna research that.
Research that. You go ahead and research. I'll send you the file. I'm happy to.
Yeah, I'm gonna research that one from you.
Yeah, but I'll be really so how long am I going to wait for this version that's so that I can do the hard reset? That's really cool.
Yeah. I'm working on it today. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's 1.10.1.1.
Oh, the update. Yeah. So I don't know, Mark. So Mark just put the 10.1.1 in Backstage last week. So I don't know how long will it be before we can push the update feature out to a live.
I think we can probably do it in fairly short order, but there you will recall it was marked as a Thrill Seekers release. So
Yeah.
It'll probably be a week or so at best.
There's no rush, Mark. It's like this year. That's great.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about something else? And then I'll stop because I've realized I'm monopolizing the time here, and I'm like, I'm sure other people have got other things to ask. But one of the things I wanted to do, and I'm sure everyone knows how to do this, and it's just because I'm a newbie, is I want to trigger. So if I add a project, so shift edit and I go blah project blah. Now that's interesting because it's not on add. So if I drag it back in, because I haven't updated the code. Select all, copy, paste. Okay, so that should now do blah. Yeah, okay. What I wanted to do is to do that.
Oh, to have it automatically open for you?
Yes. It's probably trivial, but I couldn't find it.
Nope, I don't think you can do it.
Oh, okay. Then I did. So my eyes did not deceive me. I could not find it.
It does not.
That's cool. It was just, it's not a deal breaker. It's just like, I'd like to show how clever we are. It's like, no, Richard, you just have to trust me because the point is you get the reveal, right? So you know that it's worked. So yeah, okay.
The one way to get the reveal for yourself though is either you add voice in and say, Richard, you're awesome. And so that way, at least you know the code worked, or you use show and have it show you what it added.
Oh, okay.
And so I use show all the time because it lets me know that something worked.
Okay. So show is the thing that pops things up at the bottom, right?
Yeah. So if you pull up a snap real quick.
Yeah.
And no, like do one of the other ones we just did before. Just
Okay.
like that one. And go to like a and then on the end at the end of that, after the string, type show parenthesis v string.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then click on
No,
a
I don't need to do text. I don't need to do that, do I?
yeah, and just go click on a
Go to this. Go to this one. I go apply to alpha. Whoa, nice. Okay, cool.
So it just shows you what happened.
Yeah.
And then while you're at it, why don't we, just because it's fun, go down, hit another line.
Okay.
Put speech.
Speech.
That quote, Richard, you're awesome.
Speak.
Or speak, sorry.
Speak.
Yeah, there you
Speak.
go. Yeah, Richard, you're awesome.
Richard, you're not bad.
I give myself personal affirmations like this all day.
Yeah, but you're from California and I'm from Inverness. So that's, in fact, you're right. You know what?
Richard,
Let's see if you can actually do the accent.
Richard, your neighbor.
Yeah, perfect.
And then the nice thing about this is if you use voice, you can actually, if you, it's got an argument voice. So if you say comma space, you can pass it whatever voice you want. So I have, I've downloaded every Apple voice, and Indian voices, Irish voices, German voices. It's really fun.
Now I'm worried that you're telling me that you're teaching Tinderbox to have conversations with itself.
So yeah, so you can
Does it tell it just like a you know, is there a straight man, funny man kind of, you know?
Yeah,
I say, you're awesome. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Richard.
Indeed. How exciting! Excellent.
So you could
Shut up.
on visit thing to the Chat GPT little interface that was in the forum and that just recently, and then add the speech thing. The mind boggles here. There are some interesting things you could play with here.
Yeah, and it can actually have you read back its response.
Exactly. And, you know, so you get an update on something. When you visit that note, it goes out to Chat GPT and Chat GPT comes back and then it gives you the response, which you could probably do without Tinderbox. But I mean, it's interesting.
Wow, this has been fun. Covered a lot today. We got about 10 minutes left. Anybody else have any, you have any other show and tell for us, Richard, here?
I'm not going to show the rest of it because I'm looking at. Well, actually, maybe you can ask. This would be a better way to do it. One of the things I want to do is be a bit more agentic about it. I guess that's the current phrase, right? And that's the thing that I'm really looking forward to in Tinderbox is the agent. And is there an idiomatic, a standard way of building an agent that's doing text-based searches? So I saw the find function and I see that you can add effectively queries within find to give you a list that you can then iterate over, which is that's part one. The thing I didn't quite see was RegEx searches. So I'm sure it's really straightforward. It's just
all the contains, most of the searches can handle regex, like contains and find and
okay. Because the other thing is I wasn't sure which regex flavor it was. Because it's kind of not quite PCRE, or have I got that wrong? It's something close, but and then please, this is not a complaint.
Yeah,
you know, but it's like. So go ahead.
Yeah, it used to be Boost. It's now Coco's, which is virtually Boost.
Okay. Okay. Because I was trying to do lazy searching. I was like, yeah, what are you doing? Just use 2 lines instead of 1.
Why don't we do it since you've got your screen open and all that? Let's find like bingo using an agent and
Okay.
and let's
Cool.
put a regex string in there. And if you want to use the I contains or the dot contains,
So I'll do the stamp, shall I?
you can do it as a stamp or you can do it as an agent too. But
No,
stamp,
no, do it as an agent since we're talking
Okay.
about agents.
Okay, so I
Make
am
an
your
agent.
amanuensis and I'm an idiot. So take it from the
go
top.
to file new agent, or no, not file. Note agent.
Note, create agent. I have an agent.
So if
Okay.
you click in the text, that will pop up the agent window.
Okay.
And then there you type the query. And so then you're going to type in what you're going to look for.
Okay. So it's just a
Right.
string, right?
So like dollar sign name dot I contains or text dot I contains.
I is
Or and I makes it case insensitive.
case insensitive. Yeah, I contains. Oh God, the keyboard on here is doing my head in. Bingo. Bingo. Okay, and then the agent action is show.
No. You don't want to do an agent. An agent action is applying action code to any notes that it finds.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That may be what I was doing wrong.
Yeah. So you're like, if you do that, you can say take every note you find and make color dollar sign color equals green. Turn these notes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. Because did you know you had an auto destruct button, Mark? Because I think I found it.
I have spent many long winter nights thinking about the potential of various Tinderbox operations for auto destruct.
So if you open up the agent, you'll see the notes that it's found.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
expand. Click outside the agent to expand. Yeah, and expand the agent.
Et voila. Okay, so these are aliases now, right? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah, those are aliases, correct.
Okay.
And then if you want to write, and now here's the thing I do. I create a prototype called P agent.
Right. Okay. Let me just yeah. Get it. Okay.
Easier.
P agent. Okay.
And then on that agent, go to the displayed attributes.
Okay.
And add the agent query, agent action, agent priority.
Cool. Oh. Okay.
So if the priority is -1, you're turning the agent off. If the priority is 2 or 3, so use priority to determine
How many goes it does every hour, every day.
which agent should run before another one.
Oh, okay.
And if it's -1, it turns the agent off. So
okay.
if you now put that prototype on your they have a little box on the left. Right mouse click there, assign that prototype. Okay. And then you can put a badge on it later, like the little heartbeat or something like that.
I like the little heartbeat. Let's just put a star in it so we know it's okay, right. So okay, so you're saying that this is
that can handle regex.
Regexes. Because okay, so let's start the clown comedy. So what I was looking for, let me just find a file that I had opened before I crashed my Mac 5 times in a row. Oh, come on, open recents. Was it this one? No, it wasn't that one. It was this one. I think it was this one. No, it was another one.
So, Richard, I have to admit, I am really appreciative of your masterclass today. This is just awesome.
I don't get out very much, Michael. That's what it is. I'm not allowed out on my own.
You just got my caller file yesterday. What have you been doing in the last 24 hours?
Well, I've had at least 6 hours more than you, right? So I get that kind of OCD kind of, I get carried away. But genuinely I was inspired. So let me just pull up. Okay, so let's just stick a piece of text on here. So what I wanted to do was new note. No, hang a sec. Security. So the thing this is for is because in my actual life, as opposed to the one I enjoy at the moment, is I have people. I mean, I say people, but that translates from idiot and marketing or engineering. Let's just call them. I want you say something like, as an admin, I want to tie my shoelaces. I want someone else to tie my shoelaces because I have so I don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
So
simply.
that I don't have to, right? So that's kind of the sing song that goes along, right? And so what I really want to do is have an agent that says, and this is the bit that where I hear, you see, the thing is, I hear regex and I actually hear matching. So there's going to be two goes of this, because I'm going to do the query to find the things, and then I'm going to have to run a regex to match the parts and dump them into those slots that we.
Okay, well, okay. So here, we didn't talk about this. It was more advanced. We didn't talk about this. So regex. So like do this. Say as a, and then you can do the parentheses or the pair. You can get back references.
Yeah, but I didn't know if I could do that as part of the query.
You can.
Okay, cool.
So anything in the parentheses now is going to be a $0, $1. So you can have multiple back references.
Okay.
First back reference is a 0, which is everything.
Okay, and then it's so okay.
Yeah. And 1, 2, 3, right? So you can then return the and then run
this one. Do I run? Yeah. You didn't find any, so that's because as an admin, I want. Oh, okay. So the agent, the query is wrong. I want. So that as a something, I want so that. Do I need to limit it as a regex or?
No.
Shouldn't have to. And those are returning back references that you can then pull using your agent action.
So let's just.
I know how to get the back references. You have to do an if statement to get the back references.
Yeah, because this is what I think. I was like, I can imagine that this would work.
Make sure you turn off the smart quotes.
Oh, okay, could be that.
Also, it's as, not as a.
I'm sorry. So what?
It's as an admin, not as a.
Oh yes.
Does that-
So what I really want is something like this, and as an admin, I want so that. Okay, and I need quotes. I don't need smart quotes. It's a long time since I. Okay, so that's the query.
Yeah, but you're not going to capture your back references yet. But that's a query. That will get you what you want.
Right. So
if it finds something.
I would get rid of the additional sub expressions and just see.
How do I run it? I just
go to file menu and say update agent.
File menu, update agents now. Okay.
If it found something, but it's not matching.
Okay, how about I just do this? Let's just try. Let's be really blunt.
Yeah.
Let's be blunt. Let's work for him. It really has to trip over this one, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. I'm singing from the right song sheet. Okay, so that's that. And then run the command control command equals. It findeth nothing.
So do it if.
Name. You aren't searching name, you're searching text, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I'm not allowed out my own. I may not have mentioned that. Okay, and I'll do control command equals. Cool, and of course it's found this one because it's in there.
Now, if you put parentheses around that, you'll get your back references, and then if you change that, you say if. So put in front of the text.
Yeah.
Say if parentheses text.I contains.
No, 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 no,
Is it-
no, no.
Isn't that the action? No.
How do you recover the back references in this context though, Mark?
In the agent action,
Yeah.
you use assign $1 to my string.
Got it. There you go.
Okay. So this
Well-
is. Hang on a sec. This is as a or an. This is just me being clear. I want blah so that blah. Okay. And I do control command equals, and I get nothing because I've got too many.
No, because I think the first sub-expression eats the whole rest of the thing.
Oh, right. So I really want to put this was I couldn't get to work the other day as if I do a non-greedy. Control command equals as an. Let's just take all that out.
Yeah,
I would thought that okay. Control command. Let's just make sure I'm not typing the wrong thing. No, see as a. Okay.
The text dot icon, I see a
Okay, now let's do what Mark said. Go to your code pro. You want to add my string into your notes. If you do it my string, here's another cool thing to try. Do on the agent, because we don't want to mess with your other notes. On the agent, add a my string, display a my string attribute.
Okay.
Or it could be my list, doesn't matter. Right? Okay. And then so in the action
Ask me. Oh, it's in there. Okay.
The agent action type dollar my string and then use the designator agent. So it's that what that will do is it's going to not apply it to the notes that it's finding, it's going to apply it to itself. Lowercase a.
Okay. So that's an age that designates agent. Okay.
Right. And then you say equals and then $1. And if I'm not mistaken, that should populate the agent's my string with the
File.
you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that should work.
So if I do command should equals, I should just see one of them now because it's okay. If I do this, update agents now.
Or you can always just delete the aliases too, just to make sure it's clearing out.
Okay.
It's gonna
Okay.
find it.
All right.
There you go. Now look at my string. The agent's populated with the results back.
By setting its prototype. Okay, cool. Which is not the right one.
So then it would be $0 maybe? I don't know.
$0 is the whole thing, right? Okay. Well, I can mess with that. It's okay. This is the bit that I was. So yeah. So what's clearly needs to happen is I need what I want to. So my query is text contains. Can I do an or? What I don't want to do. I mean, this is an inconvenience, but I'm just thinking. Does that work? Are you double or? Is it 2 lines for an or 1 line for an or?
one.
One. Okay. So if I do that and I do that, yeah. Okay. So now security is showing up, which is what I wanted, right? Okay. And the agent says this. As Nabin, I want someone else to tie my shoelaces so that I don't have to. Okay. Cool.
And if you did it as a my list, it would come back. Each of them would come back as a different item in a list.
Oh, okay. So this is. So if I set my list.
Yeah.
So is my list a predefined thing, or did I?
Yeah, it's just a string attribute that we know isn't
Yeah, no
It
one
doesn't
knows
have any
properly.
semantics. It's in the
Right.
sandbox group, and
Okay. So I can say my list agent equals, and then la 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 la. Oh,
Yeah, it
I'm not showing my list. Oh, I am showing my list.
should be plus equals.
Oh, I see. Yes.
So every time, for every
Because
node,
every time it does it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
once again, so it should return that.
Oh.
And maybe it needs to be $1. I don't remember.
Okay. I'm already ahead of the game from where I was, so
I
this
don't
is.
know. We'll play with it.
I'm just wondering that because I've done this, you see.
yeah, I'm not sure whether it's going to be $1 or $2 in this context.
Ah, because actually this is as an, and it was the as an, and it's going to say, yeah, it's actually you should probably do
1 and 2 or something.
yeah 1 and 2, 1 plus 2, because 1 is either going to be populated or 2 is going to be populated. Maybe. Rien à faire. Nothing doing. Oh, I don't need a. That's just a query. I don't need a semicolon on there, do I? It's just
Nope.
it just condenses to a boolean. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. I'll have some fun.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, we're about 8 minutes over. Richard, this
Sorry.
was no, don't apologize. It's simply awesome. Learned a ton today. So thank you very much for the show and tell.
Do you want me to send you this file?
Yeah, I'd love it if you don't mind. And is this something that we can share, or you just want to?
Oh, you guys can research away. If you bother to turn up on a Sunday, Saturday morning, you can research away.
I will post this as part of the meetup. So just email me the file and I'll post it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will email you as is.
Yeah, just as is.
But if you copy and paste the installer into another file and then uncheck the box and then save it and close it and open it again prior to 10.1.1, then it should work.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
That was great fun. Thanks.
Thank you. Learned a lot. It was amazing.
Great session. Have a good week.
See you, everybody. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.